Hey guys, Nubkeks here, welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. In today's video we're gonna be playing some Tyrael here on Sky Temple. A really cool warrior, one of the kind of rarer warriors to see in the game. I think a very underrated hero, honestly, and one of my favorites. Basically, you'll see as we go through the gameplay, and I'll be talking all about what he does, but essentially he is extremely mobile. He synergizes really well with dive type teams. Sanctification is a really cool high skill cap heroic. He brings boss control as well with Holy Ground. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing that sort of sets Tyrael apart as well from other warriors, is that he basically doesn't have any hard CC unless you get Judgment, which can work, it can work. But so the typical main tanky sort of Sanctification Tyrael type build, you're not, you know, you don't have CC, so that definitely sets you apart from the likes of Arthas or Nubkeks. You can certainly run him as well as a second warrior. I typically though run him as a main warrior when it does fit the composition. Whenever that occurs, he's not that great as being a solo laner. He can be okay against some heroes, but it's not a lane that you ever really win. It's just a lane that you're trying not to lose. So it can kind of fit in a bit awkwardly as compared to, we're going to have Sonya here. Looks like it's going to be our first pick. Sonya, who's very good in the solo lane, for example, as another warrior. So yeah, that's part of why Tyrael is kind of rare to see at the moment as well. Just those sort of fitting him into those kind of niches. But anyway, kind of interesting stuff. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. So I was thinking of playing some Abathur. I will have an Abathur. Oh, I did have an Abathur game up for you on the channel, which is not well received because of the puppy. Whoops. But he's quiet today. He's chilling out. He's not being noisy, so it's all good. But yeah, we're not going to end up being able to pick that Abathur. The enemy team going for Falstad and for Genji. Skullcore, hello there. I hadn't noticed that the first time I was playing. Oh man, those, I don't know if you guys have seen all the Obi-Wan memes around the internet at the moment, but it's hilarious. Anyway, they start off with Falstad Genji. Pretty interesting. So they got the global with the Falstad on their team, and they've got Genji. They've got a lot of ganking potential, quite a lot of mobility. Curious thing about the enemy team is whether they've got the kill pressure though. So that's something that's kind of useful for us. Genji is very dependent on his heroics to do damage. And apart from that, you know, Falstad probably going to go for Gust for boss control. Then we can play around Genji's heroics. So really that's quite a lot of damage that we can play around fairly easily, one hopes. So yeah, they also took Diablo, which is okay. But I think we're pretty happy here with the Sonya and the Cassia. We're actually going to get Greymane as well, so that's our 2 range damage. We're going to get Oriel too, which should hopefully be okay. She's a bit immobile, but she synergizes really nicely with Cassia. Vala, Gul'dan, even Lunara sometimes are kind of the traditional ones that go with Oriel. But Cassia works insanely well too because of charge strikes and Cassia's ults and just how all of that stuff works. And right now you can see I'm looking at basically which of the tanks I would like to play. I was considering every single option in the game at the moment. And just teasing Mr. Ninetales here, who doesn't have the Oriel skin. So I'm looking at picking up Tyrael for sure. The enemy team actually went for Arthas on top of Diablo, so they're extremely tanky. They've got loads of CC. I'm thinking this is gonna be a really nice situation for the Tyrael. We can dive in. We've got a pretty dive heavy team, but we can dive in with Sonya, we can dive in with Greymane, we can protect them with Sank from the burst damage of the enemy team. We can cleanse off the Arthas slows, potentially block Apocalypse if he goes for that, potentially block and cleanse off the Malf CC and damage as well. We can, by diving in, we can enable Cassia to dive in too. So I was thinking, yeah, this is great, this is a nice pick. Also Sky Temple, boss control is pretty important on this one. This is one of the best bosses in the game. So having Holy Ground to try to control and contest that. We can outplay Falstad too with our Q. He gusts us, we reactivate our Q after and we zip in and steal it away. Lots of options there. I'll see you in the game, and we'll see how this one goes. Alright guys, and here we are in the game on the Tyrael. early game, we're going to be fairly focused here on roaming quite a bit, backing up our teammates, just trying to support them. Tyrael is ultimately a fairly supportive type warrior, but we're going to have Sonya going to be handling the solo lane. We've got actually pretty nice and flexible range damage here with the Greymane and the Cassia, so that's pretty good. We should certainly have, I would say, and I think we should have pretty good map control over the enemy team. Sonya versus Falstad. Falstad should do okay in that because he's ranged. But so, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem for us. And they're not going to lack quite a lot of wave clear on the rest of the map. They're going to have Malf, Arthas, Diablo, and Genji. So they're going to be very low on the wave clear compared to Greymane and Cassia and all that. So we should be able to play around it. Have ourselves a pretty crazy game here to start things off with the enemy team going in deep. Arthas kind of stuck in the back. And yeah, Genji now, he's in a bit of a rough spot as well. We're going to jump on top of him, but he's going to use his E to dash away and escape. But that is a nice start to the game here. Very nice start to the game. The Arthas pick is definitely pretty clunky. Not really doing the enemy team any favors with that, I would think. They're super tanky, but the lack of wave clear is going to give them, plus the lack of damage, could definitely be a big issue for their composition. It's not what I would have picked anyway. It's not what I would have picked. But it's what they're stuck with. Something like a Ragnaros might have worked pretty well. But anyway, c'est la vie, that's what they got to run with. I think the Arthas players, like a Sonya main, are Sonya players also a Sonya main. This was this period of time where everyone's a Sonya main. I don't know. There's loads of just Sonya mains that only play Sonya mostly. That's kind of weird, but that's been a big thing in Hero League at the moment. We take out Falstad, myself, plus Greymane. Definitely not a good spot for Falstad to be in against the Greymane. We're able to come in and help with that gank. Arthas here, we're just baiting him. Gonna throw our Q in behind. Gonna Q behind him then. Gonna try body block. I actually screwed up the body block right there because of the slight Arthas slow. That was kind of newbie. But if I'd actually stepped while he was going through that brush, he actually just ran straight past the top of us. We didn't actually body block him effectively at all. If I had done that, would have been much better. This is very important actually on Tyrael. I'm going to tap for mana because we are a fairly mana hungry hero. Very important on Tyrael to body blocking is a huge part of what you do. Like I said in the draft portion, you don't have any hard CC. However, you can still get people in a rough spot because you're super mobile with your Qs. A fairly classic Tyrael move, which we tried to use against the Arthas there and slightly screwed up, was to Q behind them and then just body block them in. And just make it difficult for them to run away thanks to your physical presence. Now, unfortunately, it's limited here in terms of what we can do against the Arthas because we're 40% slowed, so pretty easy for him to break that body block and just run away. But you kind of see the rough idea. Oh, that was almost really nice. The Oriel just missed her stun on the Genji, expecting him to juke, and he did not. Cassia gonna go in, almost die herself. She was trying to fend the Genji, but he did have his parry on, so he went down with that. We get CC'd in by Diablo, but we do take him out. Unfortunately, the gate foils our plan, and we don't get the kill on Falstad. If there hadn't been a gate there, I'm pretty sure we would have killed him as well. But that's alright, you know, death for a death, it's not too big of a problem. And I think I actually say in the chat here in this game as well, or maybe not, but I was thinking when it happened, I was like, well, you know what, if I die, yeah, here, I'm actually saying this. But if I die to kill a Diablo, well, he loses trait value, right? And I gain trait value, so it's a win, really, isn't it? Because, well, I do a bunch of damage at my trait, nice. Whereas his trait, he loses the chance to farm up souls, so he's losing out on some of the Diablo power. Pretty good stuff, pretty good stuff. Fairly classic Tyrael laning stuff. We're just trying to poke the Diablo, like we're not really able to do anything much against him as you can see, but fairly classical laning stuff by Tyrael is to use your W to shield up your wave. That's kind of how Tyrael works in the solo lane. You'll burn through your mana super quick if you're trying to use your E to clear it out. Basically you just want to support the minions by giving them shields with your W and then pushing them in that way. The enemy team actually getting a great push up top off of that earlier fight. Maybe could have hit him if I timed that right. I think he can. But yeah, I didn't quite time it right. So Falstad gets away after destroying the fort. What a jerk. The good news is that we are ahead in terms of XP. But yeah, the enemy team securing that fort destruction up top gives them a little bit of map control. And it also, you know, it makes that bruiser camp up top something that we definitely have to clear out. Arthas plus Diablo kill a Sonya down bottom. We've almost killed Falstad. I actually should have stayed there to dive after him with my Q. I screwed it up, but good job team, picking up that kill. Greymane going fairly deep. We're going to give him a shield to try to keep him alive. And yeah, I mean, we can get a decent enough push here, but we do have to be kind of careful. And as soon as we clear out those bruisers, we, for the most part, want to get down bottom. I suppose the flip side, good news of this situation with our top fort being down, is that there's no top fort for them to threaten. So we can kind of chill out quite a bit in terms of that top lane. The split push, the global pressure they would have with Falstad, being able to push top, isn't too urgent now, because he's got to push it all the way to the keep in order for that to actually do anything scary. So it should be kind of nice. Just letting our teammates know that we are coming in here. Greymane's still a bit got a bit of a ways to go, but the rest of us are arriving. And a Q in, right? Your Q does apply slow, so do bear that in mind. It's pretty useful for that. Cleanse onto... Yeah, Malphus cleanse. There's not really much for him to cleanse, is there, though? That's kind of a funny one. Oriel gets flipped in. Not the target you want to get flipped in, but she survives. We're going to be able to maybe kill the Falstad. No, we're not going to go for it. Would have died in order to do it. Could be worth. He had a heal on him, that's the thing. He had the Malph heal, so maybe a bit too risky to try to take that kill. But yeah, let me mention talents here. Yes, we're coming up to level 10. Purge Evil at level 1, making your Smite, your E, do 30% more damage to heroes. It's quite nice for just a little bit of extra burst. At level 4 then, Heraldic Reforging. If our Q, if Eldraone's Might hits an enemy, it reduces its cooldown by 5 seconds. So it's normally a 12-second cooldown. This knocks 5 seconds off of it. And basically you can do that quite aggressively. You can see I'm trying to invade here with level 10. Gonna pop the Sank down. Wasn't the best positioning on the Sank. I was hoping to get the Sonya in it as well. Our teammates are really slow to actually come in here. We do kill the Falstad, which is good. Arthas almost dies, but not quite. He actually survives. Oh, I should have chased him more with my explosion. We still get some good explosion value in the team fight. The enemy team hits level 10 though. Off of those couple of kills, and they actually turn this around. So that was just, unfortunately, I should have probably pinged that there, but our team were really slow. I think they're actually saying, you know, it was a bad time to fight. It was actually, yeah, you could say that Greymane was like, that's a horrible place to fight. I didn't catch what happened with the Oriel Aegis, but that was actually a really good place to fight. We knew that they were at their siege camp. We had level 10, especially with Sanctification as well. You know, that should have been really good. We could have just like, that was a perfect spot to fight with level 10 advantage. Just taking advantage of that, especially with Sank, would have been awesome. But unfortunately, it was only myself and Sonya. So at the start, the rest were slow getting there. I think they were securing the kill on the fort. So that got kind of awkward, kind of quick. But it was actually a good idea, but hey. Rip. Rip. I love that our teammates are like, why doesn't it resurrect? Tyrael get so much value, right? I could die twice, get double explosions. Man, should have picked one of the bomb talents at level, the bomb talent at level 10, at 1, sorry, what's it called? Even in death. Increasing the damage of our death explosion by 25%, that would have been epic. Level 7, though, yeah, proper talents in case you're worried. Purge Evil at 1, like I said. Heraldic Reforging at 4, just a lot more mobility. It's pretty awesome. At level 7, Reciprocate. This makes your shield do this sort of AoE damage. I was kind of worried about that one. Again, that was like a safety sanctification. I was thinking like, these guys are being super aggressive over this siege camp. I don't see how they could make a big play off of this, but they're trying, so we should be prepared to deal with that. So that's what we did. Nice kill there on the Malph as he's running away. Genji able to escape. But yeah, in the end, the Sank was completely useless that time. But it was one of those situations where it's like, they are really, really committing to the siege camp. Greymane's not here. We should use Sank to cover this and just make sure we're going to be okay. At this point as well, with, you know, a couple of the enemy team members dead / respawning, we've got a lot of map freedom. So good chance for me to Hearthstone, get my mana back, and be ready to go into this fight over the boss kind of properly. There's also one of the most interesting temple phases on Sky Temple, where teams are strong enough to take bosses quickly. And you've got top temple plus bottom temple, so they're pretty spread out and pretty split. Good kill by our team on the Arthas, nice. But yeah, it's one of the interesting phases where if you commit to that top temple, it can free the enemy team up to rush the boss when they're focused on the bottom temple. You can't bring your top temple person down quick enough. So it actually worked out real nice that Greymane was able to solo that temple and basically have it done before there was really a fight down bottom. So that's cool. He's doing a bruiser camp at the moment, so... Cassia's saying we should do boss. I think it is too risky. Certainly without Greymane there. With Greymane doing the bruiser, it's definitely too risky. If he was here, maybe we could. Maybe, but not right now. Level 10, Sank. Judgment can be good as well. If you're really focused on single target pick. We can't do that in this game because they've got, you know, Malf, who can ice block it and cleanse the other person, so it wouldn't work. But in other games it would. And see here, oh Sonya, you could have dodged the stun. I suppose she gets stun duration reduced, so that's okay. That was an aggressive Sank, so that's an example of Tyrael kind of aggressive play. And definitely with Sanctification, you know, Sank, it's so important with how you use this talent oftentimes. You can't be reactive with Sanctification. It has a half-second cast time, which sounds like nothing, but it's actually really huge. If you're reactive, it's not going to work. With Sank, you have to be proactive. You have to predict. And that's when you're going to get the best Sanks off. It's when you dive into the team fight and you preemptively throw down that Sanctification and end up blocking some really important skills. Because the enemy has already committed to throwing those out. Because it's your ability to read the team fight, I think, makes it so good. But if you can get a good Sank down that's going to absorb a lot of stuff, or just get your team this insanely good position in the team fight, that by the time Sank is expired, you've already kind of got the kill and already won. This is a good example of Holy Ground. Arthas moving way too far forwards. I think the Arthas player is really the weak link in this team. It wasn't a good pick, and he's made a lot of mistakes. But yeah, he moved too far forwards there. We're able to just Holy Ground him in between Holy Ground and the keep, the dead keep, and get the kill, which is nice. And that's basically going to open up boss for us here. Almost had enough to kill Falstad. Not quite, but almost. Level 13. Go for Burning Rage, and 16 Holy Ground, as you saw. Holy Ground just really, really nice for body blocking people in and isolating them. Their team was quite vulnerable to it too. Arthas, obviously, vulnerable. Malf, vulnerable. Heroes without mobility, really, very vulnerable. Wouldn't work so much against Genji unless you're playing around his cooldowns, and Falstad as well. If you get them around their cooldowns, can be awesome. Or you can force them to use their cooldowns to escape. But yeah, it's a pretty nice talent. Yeah, there you go. I think a pretty nice Tyrael game. Pretty slick. Worked really well for us. We did decent damages. We did almost much hero damage as Greymane, funny enough. Trait value, nice trait value. And yeah, there you guys go. Talent build should be on the left hand side. Fairly cookie cutter stuff for the Tyrael. As one of the big things is reciprocate at level 7, please. Don't get follow through. It's terrible. Reciprocate is what you want. It adds up to a nice bit of burst damage and isolation. It's pretty good. And yeah, fairly standard stuff. Holy Arena at level 20 I think is the best one now, since they changed Hardened Shield to Nullification Shield. It's much worse. So probably Holy Arena or Angel of Justice if you're going for Judgment's pretty nice too. Maybe Nullification Shield in the odd circumstance where it makes, like, they're all magic damage and it makes sense, right? There you go. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. You can follow all the social links, join the Discord, everything like that down below as well. There should be buttons to subscribe and check out another video on the right of this screen too. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time for more Heroes of the Storm. Bye bye.